Hello, my name is Cat, and in this video I want to talk about the Indian Palace set. I want to talk about quickly a few setups you can build, but then more importantly, should you get this building? Is it still good? If you have it, should you get rid of it? And in general, is it a good set? So that's what I want to do. Before I go into that, and I do have two different answers. I have both an answer no, you shouldn't, and yes, you should. So see in the timestamps if you're interested in only one of those answers. But yeah, let's quickly go over the set itself. Here you can see the base set. I have it up here. This gives 6 fortune points and 10 goods, and frankly, not a lot else. You do get some decent amount of coins, some supplies, some medals, and some happiness. If you look at per tile stats, 0.19 fortune points per tile, and frankly, that's terrible. There's no way around it. Even the Shrine of Knowledge gives 0.25 fortune points per tile, and nowadays even that's considered a bit outdated. However, there are a few ways you can make it better. So here we have a quite common way. You can simply double up on palaces with some focus on the eastern gates. These are the ones that gives an additional fortune points. So this pair gives 0.21 fortune points per tile, 12 in total. There's another design, 22 fortune points per tile, 22 fortune points, 0.21 fortune points per tile, 0.23, and 0.24. So here are a few examples. I do believe this is the most common one, or perhaps this is the most common one. This is a very popular option, I think. I've seen it quite a lot. And if you are going for this set, this is definitely the one I would go for. It's 10 by 10 blocks. You need roads on all sides, more or less. It gives 24 fortune points, 30 goods per tile. It gives 0.24 fortune points per tile. So, with that out of the way, let me talk about if you should get it. So I will first go over why you shouldn't, and then I will go over why you should. So feel free to skip ahead if you want. So, this is why you shouldn't get this building. 0.24 fortune points per tile. That, frankly, is terrible. So here we have a nice Wikipedia page, fortune point building efficiency. Here you can see the number of fortune points per tile from the building, so I have sorted it by that. So if you look at 0.24, let's scroll down here, let's scroll down, all the way down here, the Charcoal Express. So all of these buildings have higher efficiency than the Maharaja Palace or the Indian Palace set. I counted them earlier. That's around 50 buildings. So it's actually very low down in the rankings these days. So that's the main reason why you shouldn't get it. And the other reason, it's sort of the same thing. Of course it gives fortune points, gives 30 goods, but except for that, it gives nothing. No attack, no population, which you probably won't need anyway. But the big thing, no attack. Of course, no attacking defense, not even some coin multipliers, nothing. So, I don't know. For me personally, it's definitely not worth it. You should spend your antique steel or coins on something else. If you do have the building already built, if you need space, I would consider removing it. It's one of the first sets I would consider removing. Of course it gives, in terms of raw numbers, it gives a lot. So in that regard, perhaps you don't want to remove it. But if you need a lot of space, I would consider removing it, because it takes up quite a bit of space, and you can, free up quite a lot of space by removing this. So I would definitely consider that. So yeah, I feel like you don't really need to go on further. I feel like if you were on the edge, and if you are not interested in raw amount of fortune points, you shouldn't get it. That's plain and simple. It's simply outdated. It's over 3 years old, and sadly the nature of events will just make better and better buildings, so this will get worse and worse. At this point, you really shouldn't get it if you are focused on efficiency. However, there are certain circumstances where I would still get it, where I would still recommend it, and where it's actually among the better building sets. Okay, so the main thing is what I've already pointed out. It gives a lot of forge points in terms of raw numbers. If you're in a developing city, you probably want raw numbers. You don't care about efficiency, you just want some raw numbers so that you can start aging up, so that you can start building your great buildings, leveling them. You do need forge points. And the more forge points you get, the quicker you can do that. So in that regard, it's definitely a good building. Another aspect is the amount of pieces you need. So here we need 13 pieces, which is, it's quite a lot, but still should be manageable over time through daily challenges and, more importantly, the antiques dealer. So 13 pieces, and for that you get 24 forge points. So another way to look at that, you get 24 forge points for 13 building pieces, or 13 items from the antiques dealer. Now if you look at prices, they sell for, if you're in a developing city, this might be a lot for individual pieces, but the selection kit itself only sells as a starting price of 1.120, 1,120 coins, which is not a lot. So you could pick up this entire thing for, 15,000 coins. And that's what, 3-4 shrines of knowledge, which you should be able to pick up in an event. So in that regard, if you just pay attention and pick these up for cheap, then you should be able to get it relatively quickly and relatively cheaply. Still, might be too long term, but if you're just thinking about raw numbers of forge points and how easy they are to get through the antiques dealer, this is definitely, I think honestly it's the best. I'm a bit surprised saying this, but I think it's the best building from the antiques dealer if you're just looking at raw numbers per coin spent and per item picked up. If you look at some other options from the antiques dealer, of course the art exhibition, probably very expensive still. That gives 10 forge points per 8 items from the antiques dealer. So here we have just above 1.25 items of forge points per item. But here we get 1.84 forge points per item, so it's a lot better. And same with the crow's nest, which is still quite good, but probably also very expensive. It gives out 1.6 forge points per building you pick up. Shrine of Knowledge, 1 forge point per building. So in terms of just raw numbers per building picked up from the antiques dealer, it's a good option. So if you just want some raw numbers, I know I've said that a lot of times now, but if you do, then this is definitely still worth a pick. It of course won't be the terrace farm, but you need to complete the guild expedition for that. But if you're in a developing city, the terrace farm is simply the best building if you talk about forge point per item picked up. So yeah, that's my thoughts about the Indian Palace set. I will share this in the description. This is quite easy to remember, I think. If you just break it down a little bit, you can see you have 4 eastern gates. These are the ones that gives forge points. You have 2, what are these called? Bandar playgrounds. You have 2 western palace towers. These give goods. You have 1 jungle pond, or alternatively, you can swap these. So if you have 2 jungle ponds, like that. And then of course you have 4 palaces. So that's simply how you construct these, and it's quite simple to do. So yeah, if you want to go for it, go for this. If you are in an established city where you want to focus on efficiency, don't get it. If you're in a developing city, and if you do have some antique dealer coins to spend, it's definitely worth considering. And yeah, that's more or less what I want to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.